Hi, I'm Stephanie. This week we read Oedipus the King. I already was familiar with the story of Oedipus. I had a kind of a preconceived idea that I probably wouldn't like it. It didn't seem like something that uh, was really my taste. But I went into it with a very open mind and um, really just was sure that there would be some redeeming qualities to the story. Unfortunately, in my opinion, there weren't any. I'm sure that it held a very applicable moral for that day and age, as far as, I think basically the gods are in charge. Um, your fate is already decided and you can't do anything to run from it. So don't even try, or else you're just going to make the gods angry. That's kind of what I took away from it, which doesn't seem terribly applicable to today's society. But obviously, there's a reason that it is still in circulation after thousands of years. I guess it definitely was a tragedy, obviously, for many reasons. I think it was very tragic, obviously, just the whole prophecy. It never really, I don't think, addressed whether the king and queen, Oedipus' parents, did anything to incur the wrath of the gods and bring this prophecy down on themselves. But that, that's pretty tragic. And then, they tried to circumvent, they tried to avoid this prophecy coming true. The king and queen, when Oedipus was only 3 years old, they took him out and left him to die, or had their servant take him out and leave him to die, bolted his ankles together, which seems pretty harsh. But then again, the times were totally different. The standards were different. I don't know. Maybe this was something that wasn't totally unheard of. But basically the premise of the story, there's the prophecy that Oedipus will grow up to murder his father and marry his mother. So the king and queen, in order to avoid that, they, like I said, left him to die. And then later in life, Oedipus hears the same prophecy about him. So he runs away because he thinks that his adopted parents are his biological parents. And so he runs off, and a stranger on the road threatens his life, so he kills him and goes and solves this riddle and becomes the king of Thebes and marries the queen, and then finds out that that's actually his mother, and the man he murdered on the road was actually his father. So the prophecy has come true. It's very tragic, of course, that I feel like it wasn't Oedipus's fault. He didn't know any better, any different. He didn't know that he was murdering his father. He didn't know that he was marrying his mother. But he was still held accountable for it. And to me, the biggest tragedy were his kids. First of all, he basically said, well, don't worry about my sons. They're boys. They'll be fine. And based on the ages of his daughters, which never gives an exact age, just says they're very young, they were probably pretty young, maybe younger than 10, I don't know. So that's sad. He's, don't worry about them, they're boys, they'll be fine. But then, he's begging for his daughters to be, spared and for them to be looked out for. And basically, he's never given any reassurance. He's just told, just quit crying, just stop crying about his daughters, and that's it. The story's over. He gouges his eyes out and is exiled, and the queen kills herself, and we're never really told whatever happened to the children. Were they killed? Were they put out into slavery? That to me was the biggest tragedy, but it was well written, and I'm sure there are plenty of people that enjoy it. So that's just my thoughts on Oedipus the King.